Hi again. Let's continue with the practice. We left the past video right here. And guess what? We haven't saved the file. I already saved the file because I'm doing this video and tutorials for you. But as this is going to be the first time you're going to do it, how can you save it? The easy way and the fastest way is to use shortcut. So if you have a Mac, press Command S. Or if you have a PC, Control S. But if you prefer the long way, you can come here to the top, File, and then select Save. As I already saved it before, I don't have this option available. So I'm going to select Save As. So I can have the same thing that you have, okay? So we have this new window. You have to define where do you want to save it and the name that you want for the file. In my case, I have exercise 1 Indesign. Where do you want to save it? If you want to save it in the desktop or in another folder that you already have in your computer. And where it says Format, please be sure to select Indesign 2021 Document, because this document you can edit it and continue working on it. If you select Template, this is going to be a file that you can open and use it as a base for other chapters, other books, for example. And if you select InDesign CSC4, it's for people who have, I don't know, older version of this software. So I hope and I believe that we all have the new version, so please select this one, okay? I'm going to change the name right here. And once you have it like this, please click Save. And voila, you're going to find out that at the tab at the top is going to have the name that you already selected. As we are working on this type of document, remember that sometimes some books and magazines, they have the PDF format, but we didn't have that option when we did save, right? So how can we have this option? Let's go to the top menu again, File, and instead of selecting Save As or Save as a copy, how about if we select Export? Please select Export or press Command E or Control E. Once we have it like this, you're going to have this option. Again, the name. I suggest you to have the same name of the InDesign file, so it's going to be easy to do the match. Where, remember to select the area where you want to save it. And then where it says Format, we're going to have all these options. Remember that PDF can be something that can be printed or it can be interactive. We're going to learn how to do this in a few more videos. You can save it as EPS, Encapsulated Postscript. This means that you can open the file on Illustrator. Remember that Illustrator open everything that is in EPS or vector files. We can do an EPUB. We're going to learn how to do this in, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more videos. We can save it as HTML if you want to upload it to the website. InDesign markup, this file, when you see IDML, is in case you want to save it for a previous or an older version of InDesign. JPG and PNG are for bitmap and is going to separate each page in a different image. Or XML is the one that is going to have all the codes, okay? So what are we going to select right now? As we already placed 4, we're going to select Adobe PDF Print and Save. You can keep the checkbox right here because it's going to be easier. It's telling you that it's going to keep the same name of the original file. I'm going to click Save, and you're going to have this window. Most of the time, we don't pay attention to this window, and it's really important because it's going to define the characteristics that you have in your file as a PDF document. You can define if you want to keep all the pages or just a range of pages. That means that maybe page 1 to page 2, because you don't want page 3 and 4. You can create separate files, for example. You can optimize for fast web view. That means that it's going to compress it a little bit, so it's going to be easier to open it. If you want people to have the full screen when they open the PDF, you have to put a checks right here on this box. Usually, and depending on how rush is your life. Why? Because if you click View PDF after exporting, automatically it's going to open Acrobat Reader and it's going to show you the file. I usually click it because I want to confirm that everything I have done is okay. So as a suggestion, as a teacher, as a professional, click it. Give the time to review that everything is okay and just the way that you want to. Okay? Now, please, when creating a PDF, be sure to have this create tag PDF because we want everyone to open the file. Embed page thumbnails. What does that mean? That means that it's going to keep all the information that you have right here at the right side of the screen is going to be left on the document so everyone can edit it in Acrobat Reader or in InDesign or PageMaker or another software that opens PDF files. Okay? As you can see right here, we have some layers. As we have seen it in Illustrator and Photoshop, you can use layers on the software. So please select all layers because you want everything to be completed on this PDF. Okay? And we have these 4 boxes and we're like, I don't know what is that. Okay, let me help you. Bookmarks is in case you want people, for example, to know that they need to go to a specific page number 2 because they're going to have a specific information. Okay. Hyperlinks is in case you have written, for example, a web page or, I don't know, a hyperlink to access another email or to a specific link. If you have them, please click them. Non-printed objects are the ones that you place outside the document. Please, if you don't want to print them, you shouldn't put the text, the checkbox right here. And visible guides and grids, just in case your guides, the ones that I have right here, you want them to print them, but I believe you don't, okay? Now, as this is going to be a printed PDF, where it says interactive elements, I am selecting do not include because I'm not going to use it as an interactive PDF. I am using it as an interactive print PDF, okay? Now check and compare that you have the same information that I have right here. Now, at the top, compatibility, you have Acrobat 5, that is the most common that everyone has in Mexico, but please select this one. Why do we need to use the recent version? Well, the file is going to have less size, it's going to be easier to share, and of course, I mean, why are we going to use something older if we have something new? Now, the second part of saving or exporting as a PDF document is right here where it says compression. Please click it. And we're going to have all of this. And you're going to say, I don't understand this information, I don't get it. Let me explain it to you, and you're going to find out that it's really easy. If we keep this one like this, it's going to change the images, for example, to specific color. When you do a printing thing like a book or a magazine, the printer is going to give you some numbers that they have on their machines. If you don't have that information, please select do not downsample. Okay? Now, compression. If you want to make the file smaller, please do the automatic JPEG. But if you want to keep high quality, I suggest you to keep none. Okay? We don't want compression because we want to have all the characteristics in printing, especially in printing, you know? Because we want good pictures, we want great photographs and great text. Now, this was for color images, okay? Now, in case you know the printer and they tell you, hey, it's a Xerox or it's a Heidelberg, well, they're going to give you some information and you're going to select it. The most common one that you're going to use is the average downsampling, okay? Because the way you see it through your screen is going to be similar to the one that you're going to print. Okay, now the high quality that you have to consider when you're printing is always 300 pixels per inch. Remember, high quality, 300 pixels per inch. So I'm going to change grayscale images in this case. Again, I'm going to select non-compression. In case you want to select a compression, remember that JPEG is going to reduce the size of the file, but the quality is not so high. So my suggestion is, instead of selecting automatic or this one, select zip, okay? These are the 2 options. I'm showing you options so you can make the best decision depending on the project that you're doing. Okay, and I'm going to select monochrome images do not downsample, okay? And I don't want to compress anything. So if you want to compress text and line art and crop images and data to frames, perfect. This is good because it's going to make the file smaller in size. Now, let's go where it says marks and bleeds. So we have all this type of information, and maybe we're not aware of how we can use it. So for now, please click all printers mark. I'm going to explain briefly each of them, and you're going to say, oh, it's not that bad. Nice to know. So we're going to save two PDF files, so you can see the ones with this printer marks and without it, okay? When you select all printers mark, you're going to have the crop, is where, for example, the machine that cuts paper is going to register the lines to cut the paper. Bleed. Bleed is something that you have that goes outside the page. We're going to do an exercise about it. Bleed will be in Spanish sangrado, and it's an extra that you put outside the page, just in case you don't want people to find out that, the design is just really closer to the border of the page. Registration marks, color bars, and page information is information about the colors that you're using in your document, and if you're using cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, or maybe you're using a special color like Pantone, or maybe you're just working in grayscales. We're going to see this. Bleed and slug, remember bleed, sangrado. We haven't seen this before, so we're not going to check this one. And the last thing, but very important, where it says security, please click it. Sometimes you want to share the document and, maybe you're going to share it to an important person and you need a password. So you can require a password to open the document. I'm going to write down something as a password. And if you want to restrict printing, editing, and other tasks, you have to create another password. For example, I'm going to write down another one, okay? So you can say, hey, I don't want people to print it. So people are not going to be allowed to print it if you select none. But you can select low resolution or high resolution. Or maybe you don't want people to edit or fill or comment or do anything. You can do it here. And you can select anything of the options that you have right here. I'm going to select none, okay? So I'm going to export this one. Remember that at the beginning, right here where it says, where it says general, I decided to make it PDF after exporting, right? So as you can see, I had to write down some passwords. You have to remember the passwords that you have written, okay? So I'm going to select export. And let's see what are we going to see. As we can see, it's telling me and requesting for a password. So to open the password, to open the document, I need to write down a password. I'm going to write it down. And as I requested to have a full screen mode, it's going to request and ask me if I want to. But I am free to decide if I want it or not. So in this case, I'm going to select no. Now, this is page 1. Okay, I'm going to close this one. The ones that are at the top are the printer marks. You can see here is the cutting area, the registration area, and this is useful for the ones that are working in a printer agency, like imprentas bien grandes, okay? Not small companies like Office Max or Office Depot. So this is what I have when I select the printer's mark. Remember, you have to do it only if you're going to go to an imprenta, not to Office Max or Office Depot, okay? Now, let's see. I'm going back to InDesign. In case I don't want to have that printer stuff, I'm going to File, Export. I'm going to export it as a PDF print. I don't want to replace it. I'm going to put another letter. And where it says marks and bleeds, remember that you can take them all, export it, and here you have it with the printer marks and without it. Okay, I believe that if you want to do a preview, an easy preview, and you want to print it in your house or in Office Depot or Office Max, Hyperlumen, this is the way you can do it. Or if you want to share it with your family. Okay, so this is how we can save and how can we export a file to PDF. See you!